good coffee this morning. Really good. See, I do this Lavazza coffee, and this is the Italiano espresso. It's very, very good. Very mild, reasonable. It's a nice coffee. So, good morning. Where are we at today with the weight loss? Well, first of all, yesterday was a very challenging physical day because I did a project in my workshop. And it was lots of running around and getting stuff done. My step counter said that I did 15,000 steps or 14,900 steps or whatever. It's very, very busy to the point where at one point I was rushing around. It was late at night. I was trying to finish my project, and I slipped on something on the ground and smacked right into a door jamb, the corner of a door jamb. Just fell and hit myself right here on the side of a door jamb. I was tired, just tired, too much doing. Anyway, so where are we today? Well, went ahead, and everybody knows that my goal is 30 pounds in 60 days. And today I weighed in at 178.9 pounds. I weighed myself 3 times because I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that I knocked off yet another pound. But a lot of work yesterday. Maybe I did burn off a lot of calories yesterday. But so yesterday was 179.9. Today's 178.9. So it's a full pound. And what that means is that I've crossed the halfway mark. I've done 15.1 pounds. I've already lost 15.1 pounds, and I only have 14.9 pounds to go. And so we've lost 15.1 pounds in 16 days, and we've only got 14.9 pounds in 44 days. Can we make it? I think so. I think that if everything stays stable, I stick to my plan, and I keep monitoring all my metrics and all my data, I think I'm going to make it. I think I'm going to make it to 30 pounds in less than 60 days. Or it looks like it's less than 60 days at this point. So I'm not counting my chickens before they're hatched, but I really think that that this is possible. 5-day average did go up, so I need to correct that, and it's 0.7 at this point. So we're going to correct that. I think it's 0.76, I think is what the data says. 0.76, yeah, 0.76 is what the average, right? We're dealing with a very small number of numbers here. This is a 5-day average. I threw in a little thermometer here to see how we're doing, a little gauge, and we're at the 50% mark now. So this is really good. It's very good progress. I said that I was going to celebrate and have a latte if I hit the 50% mark, or when I hit the 50% mark. I said I was going to have a latte, and my brain says no. I don't want to do it. I'm not craving for it. I'm not craving for it right now. Maybe I'll crave for it later on today, but I'm not craving for it right now. So these are great numbers. Felt very good yesterday. Was working really intently yesterday in my shop, and wasn't even hungry. I had to force myself to come in and have lunch, and then I had to again force myself to come in and have dinner, and just literally put my dinner in a bowl and went back out there and worked, and I ate and worked and ate. I didn't even notice it. And I remember eating my dinner and thinking to myself, this is a lot of food. I just feel like it's a lot of food. Watch, it's loose, right? It's the same, I put it to the same notch all the time. So watch is nice and loose now. It's rotating all the way around my wrist. Clothes feels loose, and did some after pictures. It's noticeable. I got 15 pounds, makes a difference, and the sleeping, can't complain about the sleeping. So that stuff is all positive. There's great data. My blood sugar this morning was 76, really low. It's very nice, nice and low. Last night, before I went to bed, it was 104. So given the amount of weight loss that I've had, I think I can predict that in the next day or so, I'm going to have one of those days with minimal weight loss, like maybe 0.2 or 0.3 pounds. I think that's coming up. I think it's reasonable to assume that that's going to happen because that's been the pattern so far. And speaking of patterns, I've got some new graphs. What I did is I tinkered around with my spreadsheet yesterday and I created a bunch of graphs. And what I've done is I've started graphing my data to see what kind of patterns we can see. So I'm going to show you what those graphs are and we'll talk about it a little bit. All right, so this first graph just basically is tracking my 5-day average weight loss. So over time, and we didn't really have a lot of data up here. I know that I started up here, but so my weight loss has kind of been like bouncing around the 1 pound mark, and then it's come down to the 0.6 mark and bounced back up to 0.8, bounced back up. Not really sure why I didn't. Oh, this is the average, right? So this is the average. So my average went up. My average is moving into this area, but you know, it's telling me, the trend line is telling me that it's going down. So we'll see what happens over the next 30 days or 45 days or so. So that's kind of interesting. My daily weight loss, you can see the trend over here. This is the 1 pound mark. This is 1.5. This is 0.5. Just bouncing around. I must have retained a lot of sodium. I think this is when I started my electrolytes here. So I must have retained a lot of sodium because I actually gained a 0.2 or 0.3 pounds that day. But then went right back to my large volume of weight loss. Bang, bang. A lot of numbers over here around that 1 pound mark, right? So you can see that trend line right over here, daily weight loss. So that's kind of interesting. This next one right over here. Total pounds lost. So you can see the trend line, the dotted trend line right here, telling me that I'm heading in the right direction. I might be somewhere between 25 and 30 pounds lost by the end of the month. That's what it's telling me, right? That's my trend. If I continue this pattern, that's what I should be able to expect. So very nice straight line. I mean, look at that line. There's very little deviation there. And so that's a very predictable, that's a very reliable trend line because of the way this data is structured and because of the way that the data was presented itself. So I couldn't be happier with this. This is really, truly an amazing weight loss. I don't think I've ever experienced anything this consistent and this predictable. Calories allowed on a daily basis, you can see that what I've done is I've started out at about just under 1,250, maybe 1,230 calories, and now I'm under the 1,200 mark, and I'm around, I think it's 1,155 or 60 calories allowed today, or just around 1,160. So, really come down in calories, but I haven't felt it because it's a pinch here and a pinch there in terms of calories on a daily basis. So it's not really something that I've noticed a whole lot, but measuring it, knowing how many calories I'm allowed today is so different than any weight loss program that I had before that was based on calorie deficit. So that's been really positive, and I'm very happy about that. I'm looking at this next graph, and you know what? I actually don't even know the title to this graph because it got cut off in the printing. But I believe this is my blood sugar. So this is blood sugar, daily blood sugar count. So there it is. And my blood sugar yesterday was high, but today, I printed this last night. Today it's low. It's 170. It's like 76 or something. So it's really, really low. The trend line, again, doesn't really matter, but the trend line is showing you, it doesn't matter that the data wasn't captured today, but what it's telling you is that my blood sugar is trending down. It's going from a high 90s to a low 80s, and it's heading in the right direction. A little more choppy than my weight loss, but it's very good. I mean, I'm very happy about the situation there, so that's good. All right, so that's the data, and I'm starting to graph it, and I think that the graph is useful stuff. It's a great little visual. I don't have to interpret numbers, so I've added that dimension to my spreadsheets. I'm going to do an update on my spreadsheet collection to show you what kind of data I'm gathering, how I'm presenting it, some of the derived data, which means it's not just the raw data points that I'm picking up. I'm also doing a little bit of statistical analysis on the data. I, sort of, in full honesty, I'm a math major. I've got a degree in mathematics, so I kind of play with these things, and you probably derive that by now. But I do like playing around with numbers because I think that they tell you something. I like science, and I like to look at numbers, and I like to try to see how I can interpret data. You can interpret it many ways, and there's lots of reasons for things, and it's easy to draw bad conclusions from data. There was an old saying, figures lie and liars figure. So that's always an issue. But from a data perspective, I like to look at the data. I like to look at the raw data and then start throwing analytic tools on it, like averages and means and all sorts of things like that I try to throw on there so that I can start to understand what's going on. And those trend lines that you might have seen or that you observed, those trend lines are really telling. They're telling you a story. They're saying, hey, you're headed in the right direction. And again, I keep coming back to this simple thing. You're heading in the right direction. It's making your brain start believing that you can do it. And this organ up here, this is just another organ in your body, right? It's like your liver or your heart. It performs a function. And I'm not necessarily in control of it all the time, right? It does its own thing. Just like I'm not in control of my heart or my liver. I don't willfully process things with my liver or my kidneys or my heart. I don't willfully design things up here. Right? We think that this thing is malleable by will, and it's not. It's not. It's completely subject to the environment. And it's operating on emotion first and then thought, right? So whatever you focus on, you give a meaning to. And then whatever you give a meaning to, you derive emotion from, and then whatever you derive emotion from drives your behavior and your thinking. So if you're scared, that's not a willful act. Like, you're not willing yourself to be scared. If you're frightened about something, you're going to be frightened, and you're going to behave a certain way, and you're going to think a certain way. And if you're threatened, you're going to behave a certain way, and you're going to act, you're going to think a certain way. And if you're calm and you're happy, you're gonna behave a certain way, and you're gonna think a certain way. And what I've found is that all things are possible when you're calm and happy and positive. But in most other emotions, if you're angry or you're upset or you're frustrated or you're scared, that's going to drive behaviors and thinking that doesn't include all the possibilities. You start to limit all the possibilities. So right now I'm in a state, personal mind state, where I'm happy and I'm positive and I see progress, and it's only been 16 days. 16 days has just changed the way I think about certain things. And yesterday I was bouncing around, I was telling my wife, I've got this idea and I've got that idea, and what can we do? It's cool. It's cool to be in this state. I'm grateful that I'm in this positive state. Just a quick thing that I wanted to talk about today was, why am I taking this approach? It's an approach that this calorie deficit, but this really, data-driven, metrics-driven, very statistically analytical approach. Why am I doing this? I was thinking about that. Why am I taking this approach? Why is this approach working for me so well? I don't know if it'll work for other people, but why is it working for me so well? Well, first, math, right? I'm a math guy, but I don't think that matters much. I think looking at data matters. And I think people weigh themselves every morning and they're looking at data at the bottom of the scale. The scale is giving you data. I think people look at their waistline, and I think people look at themselves in the mirror and give themselves a graphic representation of what their body looks like. But the truth is that's just a bunch of numbers, and your eyes just interpret it a different way. And I think if people saw the numbers, dieting by the numbers, and they saw the numbers every day, and they weighed their food, that's a set of numbers too, that weighing the food, right? It's all numbers. If people took that approach, I have a suspicion that people could be successful and that they could derive motivation from it. But one of the key principles here is you have to believe in the science of biological thermodynamics, right? And I've been playing around with this idea for years. This is not something I just researched yesterday, but biological organisms abide by a set of laws that are in chemistry and biology and physics. And so you combine those laws to just basically say the total amount of energy in can't, it cannot exceed the total amount of energy out. Like it's going to be equal, right? You're going to take in energy and you're going to burn some of it off and you're going to store some of it, right? It's going to be equal on both sides. So if I take in 1,000 calories, and I burn 1,500 calories, your body has to have gotten 500 calories from somewhere. It couldn't make it up from air. So I believe as a person who's done chemistry and studied chemistry in the past, and studied biology and studied math and studied physics, I believe in this law. I believe in this basic science, right? So number one, belief, big deal. It's a big deal that you believe in it, right? I've encountered some people who've told me, yeah, that works for most people, but it doesn't work for me because I diet and I don't lose weight. And I'm wondering now, are they really dieting? Are they really doing this? Are they really cutting back to it? I mean, if you cut back to 1,100 calories a day, are you not going to lose weight? I mean, if you've got a body mass index over 30, right, which is in the obesity category, aren't you going to lose weight at 1,100? Well, I don't know. I know I do. And I don't want to question people who feel that they don't, but I know that it works for me. And I think it works for the vast majority of people. And I think one of the things that I noticed was that I was not being fully honest with myself on previous diets. And I was kind of kidding myself, right? Like, I'm going to knock out all the calories today, but did I weigh them? No, I didn't. And it was all visual, and I wasn't sustaining it, and I didn't have a plan, and I didn't have rules. And so, I don't think that I was really sticking to a diet back then. I did because I lost weight, but I don't think I was being very rigorous about it. So this idea of like thermodynamics and biology and chemistry, I think that I really believe in that rule, that set of science, that law, and it's the best we know so far. And I know we're learning things about, burning glucose versus ketones. And so we'll see what that science reveals over time. But what I do know is right now, the basic law of X number of calories in and then burn calories and then, get calories from fat stores equals less weight. I think that equation, for me, I believe in it. I believe in that equation. I think that equation is spot on. I don't think that it is different. I don't think that I adhere to any different types of rules. I don't think my body has any sort of exceptional processes that it's taking. So, that's the one thing, right? I wanted to believe in this, and I did believe in it, and I did this entire program based on that assumption, that basic belief that calories in and calories out is either a deficit or a surplus. It's one of the two, and it's really a set of simple chemical, biological, and physics rules. So I just wanted to kind of touch on that because I know that, like I said, I've encountered folks who said that these things don't work for them and they need to go do something different, and that's it might be true. I don't know, so that's I'm fortunate, I guess, that I fit into this nice big box where the rules do apply to me. So my observations so far, sort of like from a science standpoint, is my observations are so far it's consistent. My results are consistent with the theory, and I'm able to reproduce them. So that's what I've got to say. So today on tap, just kids, and Sunday. It's going to be a nice day. Hopefully we'll be able to spend some family time and do some things. I know the kids got some projects today that they want to do. They want to grow crystals, so we'll see what happens there. So I'm going to stick to my diet today. I've got every reason to stick to my diet plan. I've already printed out my little sheet that tells me how many calories I can take in from which meal. So I'm looking forward to sticking to my diet today. Don't think I'm going to have that latte today. I don't think I will. Maybe I will, but I don't think I will. And if I do, I'll probably just have a sip and then toss the rest. I don't know. So I'm going to stick to my plan today and see what kind of results we can get tomorrow. Today is the 17th, right? So it's the 17th of January. And, you know, it's looking like I might have some spare time at the end of this. What would I do? What should I do at the end of this? You know, I was thinking about that. The graphs and the sort of the data that's out there that I've done some research on suggests that a person with my height, my age, should weigh a little bit less than 164. That in fact, an ideal weight for me would be in the high 150s. Can I hit the high 150s? Like if I've got surplus time, can I hit the high 150s? And I'd be thin. High 150s. I know that in college, I remember being weighed in college. I believe I weighed somewhere between 152 and 157. So could I go back to that weight? I don't know. I think I could try. Maybe we could go for another 10 pounds if we've got some spare time. So we'll see how I feel about the diet. I know that this sort of like a pinch less every day is really working for me. I'm not feeling hungry. I'm not noticing it. My body's adjusting slowly to a pinch less every day. So I like that strategy. I really do like this approach. So have a great day. Enjoy. If you're dieting, stick to it. Whatever method you're following, stick to it. Try to lose some weight. You'll feel a lot better. Take a note of how you emotionally feel about your weight loss. And if you feel really good about it, it's because whatever you're doing is working for you. And if you feel weird about it, maybe if you feel negative about it, maybe whatever you're doing, you need to change it. Just look at the data and try to figure out what you need to change. This is who knows how many attempts this is in my life to lose weight, how many pounds I've lost over the years. So this is just another attempt that for the first time, I feel really great about. I don't feel like I'm suffering. All right. Have a great day, and I'll see you at the next update.